My favorite animal at the zoo is a polar bear.
My favorite animal at the zoo is a hippo. My favorite animal at the zoo is a turtle.
My favorite animal at the zoo is the elephants.
My favorite animal at the zoo is the sloth.
Bear starved to death at the Toledo Zoo after zoo's officials locked her up to hibernate without food or water. But what they didn't know was that her species doesn't hibernate.
I do not think the animals are happy in the zoo because they're not allowed to be out in the wild and they're in captivity and they're not having fun with other animals.
In Surabaya Zoo of Indonesia, animals are not only denied of proper nutrition and living conditions, but they do not even get the basic care, like and die due to starvation. Do you think the animals are happy?
No.
Why?
Because they're like in a cage.
We think of psychological disorders like anxiety and depression as uniquely human problems. But many other species from the zoo could be suffering from them too.
I think the animals aren't happy in the zoo because they're in a cage all the time and like contained when they want to be like out in the wild, I guess.
It seems that animal mental illness can be triggered by many of the same factors that unleash mental illness in humans. That includes the loss of family or companions, loss of freedom, stress, trauma, and abuse.
I think the zoo is good, as you can see, like animals, but at the same time I think it's bad because animals are supposed to be in nature and be where their natural habitat is.
In 2012, sharks killed 12 people. That same year, humans killed 100 million sharks. Zoos protect against species going extinct. A good number of species only exist in captivity and still more only exist in the wild. For species whose survival in the wild looks stout, zoos often set up insurance populations. What we learn about animals in the zoo help us conserve them in the wild.
My name is Lindsay Egan. I am a senior elephant trainer here at the Albuquerque Biopark. Everything we do for the elephants here at the Biopark is geared towards their safety and their well-being. One of the big components of that is that we are a protected contact facility, meaning there's always a barrier between us and the elephants. And then every aspect of their care throughout the day is voluntary on their part. So all of the training, moving from one yard to another, barn to barn, all of that is on the elephant's time.
This is Rhonda Sayers, and I'm the elephant manager at the Albuquerque Biopark. Make sure every enclosure that we have is strong enough, it's set up with appropriate spacing, because it's going to be very different for an elephant compared to, say, a little golden lion tamarin, right? So we use standards and guidelines from them. We also use years of experience to create nice, safe enclosures.
Everything that we do before we move the elephants, we're looking to make sure that the logs are in good positions, that rocks are still stable, that the cables are still up and working, that we haven't had any trees fall, that we don't have any tools left in the area. All those kind of things factor into the safety, not only of the elephants, but for us as well. Our elephants know only this lifestyle. And the wild is a very scary place right now, especially for elephants. In Africa, we're losing 96 elephants every day to poaching. In Asia, we're losing mass amounts of elephants as well to human-elephant conflict, where people are moving into traditional elephant lands and they're taking over. And when the elephants come back to try and get food and resources, the humans have to fight them for it. And so really, the wild is disappearing, and it's also a scary place. Their future is not for sure in the wild. And part of what we're doing here is making sure that our elephants are as healthy, happy, and motivated throughout the day and weeks as they would be anywhere else. We want our elephants to be happy so that they can live just like elephants.
My goal is to create a situation with our elephants that is as natural as possible. So I'm going to utilize their natural history, their herd structure, who they're meant to be in the wild, and what their job is in the wild. So an elephant's job is to eat up to 18 hours a day. Their job is to be with bulls and babies and geriatric females, grandmas and aunties and little brothers and little sisters. So I'm going to use that to create the herd structure that I want. We're well.
People forget the good that zoos do. If it weren't for zoos, we would have so many species that would be extinct today. PETA has acknowledged that many countries in Europe, America, and Australia are greatly improving the standard of living for the animals in their zoos. Some animals, such as elephants and polar bears, are being returned to the wild or sanctuaries in their countries of origin. Many zoos are now conducting more useful and beneficial research and conservation practices.